A taxi slows. Rain hisses on the windshield. And she laughs across from you like the world is still a little too loud. She asks for one more thing. The small demand that always feels heavier in the quiet. And for a second you consider agreeing because arguing seems worse than folding. Then you stand. You smile. You walk out. No scene, no explanation. Your phone stays face down on the seat. Those footsteps on wet pavement are a message louder than 1,000 texts. That exit lands like a stone in still water. Ripples follow where words once were. Listen, this isn't cruelty dressed up as strategy. This is the simplest social truth most men miss. Presence that costs nothing becomes invisible. Absence that costs integrity becomes rare. People prize what costs them something. When you stop being the default, suddenly the default changes meaning. Your consistency stops being background music and starts to sound like a melody she can't quite place. Scarcity doesn't manufacture love. It restores context. It forces meaning back onto the moments she took for granted. You don't walk away to punish. You walk away to prove one clear thing to yourself. You are not disposable. You walk away to reclaim the attention you were giving away for free. There's a quiet algebra to this. When availability is unconditional, value deflates. When availability is conditional, protected by your time, your standards, your mornings, it regains worth. That is the emotional currency people spend when they're deciding what matters. This works because the human brain is a pattern machine. It learns what to expect, then stops tagging it as important. Imagine a light that never turns off. After a while, you don't notice it until the power goes out. When you disappear, her brain goes hunting for the missing piece. It starts to retell the story it was telling when you were always there. What did I have? What did I miss? That inner questioning creates attention. Attention is the seed of longing. But there's an ethics to this. Walking away is not ghosting like a coward. It's not some social media stunt. No passive-aggressive posts, no public performance. Real walking away is quiet, measured, aligned with a boundary you actually believe in. You say one sentence calmly, "I don't respond to disrespect." Then you honor it. You don't explain 8 times. You don't post for sympathy. You simply live a life that reflects that sentence. That is dignity. What most guys confuse is theater for transformation. They think, "I'll go big, vanish, she'll implode." That's cheap theater, and it usually looks obvious. The form that actually moves the room is recalibration. You reallocate your time. You protect mornings. You stop being the emergency responder to emotional storms that aren't yours to fix. You don't cancel your projects because someone needs attention. You let them feel the consequence of inconsistency. That consequence often makes them look back, not because you're playing mind games, but because you've stopped allowing your life to be rearranged on demand. I once knew a guy, Omar, who used to answer midnight dramas like they were urgent infrastructure failures. He'd explain, apologize, reframe. 1 month he simply stopped. He didn't text theatrically. He lived his mornings, runs, a book, a project. No grand announcement. 2 months later, she reached out, quieter, asking about a line he'd said once. She wasn't trying to trap him. She was trying to understand the man who wasn't waiting by the phone. That shift wasn't manipulation. It was consequence. His life had a center again. So how do you do this with integrity? Start with your calendar. Protect the small things that make you whole: the morning hour, the workout, the friend dinner. Let those be non-negotiables. When someone pulls at your time in a way that erodes you, repeated disrespect, emotional dumping, or relentless availability tests, speak once. Say it calmly. I don't accept that tone. Talk to me when you can be respectful. Then do not engage in debate. Do not supply a running commentary on your feelings. Live the sentence. Expect discomfort. That is part of the work. People will notice the gap and feel uneasy. Your phone will not explode with regret overnight. Sometimes nothing happens. That's fine. The goal here is not to engineer immediate reaction. The goal is to stop spending yourself on patterns that cost you clarity. Over time, people who value you will notice the steadiness. People who don't will continue what they were doing. Either outcome is information you need. There's a subtle, powerful psychological loop at play. Absence forces narration. When she can't read you as a constant, her brain begins to rewrite the past to make sense of the present. Ordinary acts that used to blur into the background become distinct again. The little texts, the way you held space, the movie you sat through. She may feel regret. She may feel curiosity. She may move on. You will have at least saved the part of you that used to be eroded by over-availability. This isn't a game to win. It's a restoration of self. Walk away to get yourself back, not to get her back. Become the person your past self wanted to be, someone whose worth is proven by actions, not by pleading. Build rituals that require your presence, a project, a book, a gym routine, and show up for them. Not to impress anyone, to be unmovable because your life already moves with meaning. That is magnetic. If you're tempted to rehearse lines, keep it short and honest. I won't be available if this continues. Say it once with calm. Then do the quiet thing. Protect your hour tomorrow morning. Put your phone away and read, run, create. See how it feels to live a half day without performing for another person's approval. Let this be the rule you live by. You don't become scarce to control someone else. You become whole to stop being controlled by them. The irony is beautiful. When you stop orbiting other people's emotional weather, their weather begins to change around you. Sometimes that means they come back with new clarity. Sometimes it means you move forward lighter. Both are improvements. Tonight, before you reach for your phone, take 3 breaths. Ask yourself one question. What am I proving by replying now? If the answer is, I need reassurance, don't send it. Instead, do the thing that proves your autonomy. Walk a block, make your bed, open the book you meant to finish. Live the sentence. I am not a convenience. I am a life. If this hit home, do one practical thing and tell me in the comments what hour are you protecting tomorrow. I'll read them. Keep it quiet. Keep it steady. Then watch how the space you create begins to rewrite how others see you.